Hey everyone, in today's class we are going to discuss one topic, that is blood pressure measurement. So I think this is the one topic which is very much important to get to know, because these cases for most of the disease or disorder, if you see, the blood pressure plays very vital role, right? So that is the reason here we are going to discuss what is actually the blood pressure and what are the different techniques or methodologies are there in order to measure this blood pressure. Let's move on to the topic. So first of all, we should know what is meant by blood pressure. So blood pressure, to be simple, it is the pressure which is being exerted by the blood against the wall of blood vessels. Okay, you have the blood vessels, inside the blood is flowing. Whenever the blood is striking very hard to the blood vessels, there will be a creation of some pressure. That pressure is nothing but your blood pressure. Okay, so there are actually two types of blood pressure. One is systolic blood pressure, another one is diastolic pressure. So systolic pressure refers to the maximum atrial pressure during contraction of the heart. So whatever the pressure we are discussing here related to the blood, it is directly mapping with your heart function. I will tell you why in the sense. So here we are focusing the pressure of atrial, that is artery blood vessels. Okay, here we are focusing only the blood vessels of artery. In case of measuring, either it's a systolic blood pressure or diastolic blood pressure, we should know why we have been focusing this particular atrial blood pressure in play, like instead of venous pressure. We all know that if you take blood vessels, you have three types, right? Arteries, veins and capillaries. But here we are choosing only atrial, that is the artery blood vessels, in order to measure the BP, that is systolic or the diastolic. The reason is that the artery is the one blood vessel which is going to carry all the blood and is going to distribute all the blood to the respective tissues and the organs, right? Because the heart is pumping the blood. Okay, the heart is pumping the blood to the aorta. From the aorta is going spread out all the arteries. Through this arteries, the oxygenated blood is reaching all the way to the all the tissues and the organs. So that is the reason here we are focusing on atrial pressure instead of compared to the venous pressure, because the atrial pressure will have the clear view of it will tell the clear view of what is the workload of the heart, what is the efficiency of the heart, and also we can have oxygenated blood to be circulated, right? So that is the reason here we are focusing the atrial pressure. So if there is any efficiency drop in this case of atrial blood pressure, then it directly maps with heart functionality also. So the main reason of atrial pressure to be noted is just to map what is the functionality of the heart to get to know, right? So that is the reason we are focusing the arterial pressure here. So what is mean by systolic blood pressure? In the sense, here we are measuring the pressure at contraction of the heart. Okay, so that pressure is called systolic blood pressure, that is a maximum atrial pressure, because during the contraction you have very high force. So that force, that pressure is it seems to be very high. So that's why this maximum pressure, if you are measuring during the contraction of the heart, then it is a systolic pressure. And then diastolic pressure is just vice versa. Here you are pressuring the measuring the pressure at the lowest point. That is when the heart muscle is relaxing, that is during the expansion of the heart. Okay, so this is two types of blood pressure. You know the values, that is for BP we will say like 80/120. Okay, the reason is that here you have to see two pressures within its nominal range. Okay, so 80 in the sense diastolic pressure and 120 is the systolic pressure. So 80 is nothing but, you know, the diastolic blood pressure is the low value, right? It is a low atrial pressure. So that's why for less value 80, it is represented by diastolic, and 120 is the maximum pressure compared to 80. So 120 is nothing but systolic blood pressure. For a simple trick to remember what is all about systolic and diastolic is, systolic is for contraction, S for C, contraction of the heart, and diastolic is for relaxation, dia in the sense relax. Okay, so relaxation of the heart is the diastolic. When you are relaxing, automatically pressure will get get down. Okay, so automatically you have to give the value of 80. And then systolic means that is the contraction maximum atrial pressure, then you have to give higher values for systolic, because most of the time we people used to get confused which one is systolic and which one is diastolic, and systolic is meant for what and diastolic meant for what. So this is the reason I have given small trick to remember. The systolic means contraction. Contraction, while it's contracting you have heavy pressure, so it means that the value 120 goes here. And diastolic means relaxation, means that the pressure is getting dropped down, so it means that you have low value, so 80 goes here. So this how you have to be remember whenever you get confused. Okay, this is all about general explanation of blood pressure. In next class we will be discussing how what are the different techniques are there to measure the blood pressure.